have boosted the economy, no money. So in the villages, the economy is zero. They are not growing. Nobody is spending. So how do you talk about inflation coming down when you don't spend and you can't even pay MPs and give us our entitlement? You are all suffering, but you won't talk. So please be sincere to yourselves and let's say the truth, and the truth shall set us.
Suffering, you won't talk. No, the man has done the job for the MPs. I mean, I think they need to see him and give him something, because a lot of the things that they will have wished to be able to say, which they couldn't say, he said it for them. He said that a lot of the MPs are suffering. The local economy is suffering. They have not been paid. They are not enjoying their entitlement. Yet nobody is complaining. For him, he would do so. He's not the only one, is he, Janice? A lot of MPs have been contributing to that conversation. You want to share with us what they have been saying?
Yes, Alpha. So please let's just listen to the Felix Ofozukwashi, who is the
Minister of State in charge of government communication.
And so I think let me play that voice right now.
The three arms of government provide a public service. They serve people. When you are elected as an MP, everything you do is in furtherance of the interests of the people of Ghana or your constituents. Ministers, we all agree, should be given some facilities in order to be able to do their work. The same for the judiciary. They hardly come up for mention in terms of what it even costs to run the judicial service. But the moment it gets to MPs, a certain attack is launched on them. Let me tell you up front, and I know it because I've experienced it. There is nothing that the MP gets for his old tenure that will come anywhere close to what the MP spends on the people that he serves. And maybe you may oblige me. One day, just spare me one of your cameras and your cameraman to follow me to the Abu Asebu Kwameka's constituency for between Friday and Sunday.
Where you are leaving to from here.
Exactly. And come back with the reports. Look, on any given morning, if I happen to be in the constituency, there will be between 200 to 300 people in my house. So I have an office where I sit and run what I call a clinic. So you can sit there for about 6 hours sometimes, listening to specific demands. And you see what happens is that because government is limited in terms of its reach to the people, that void, that chasm that is created, that breach has to be filled by the MP. So unlike other players in the governance architecture, the MP has to meet direct needs. Indeed, my colleague here lamented a few months ago about what it takes him to be able to go around the constituency every weekend. As I sit here, I'm not yet in AAK, but my constituency organizer, Amos, has sent me a tall list of funerals to which I have to donate. The last time I was in AAK, I counted 336 people came to me in the morning with varying degrees of demands. And these are not people who are there to swindle me. They have brought genuine concerns that if I do not address, government will never be able to address it. So they will be condemned to extreme suffering. So when you become an MP, what do you get? Our salaries are analogous to the salaries of ministers. In fact, because I happen to be a minister and an MP, I'm paid by parliament actually. So there's a small top-up that I get as a minister. That is it. And then you are given a car loan. And something, it is a loan, not a gift. In lieu of that, you would have to buy it and give it to me. When I leave, I leave it. But it is really the same thing. You know what? Even before you see the car, they start deducting the money. So the money started disappearing from my account since last year. So I've been paying for it even though I have not seen the car yet. And the deductions will continue till the end of the 4-year tenure. Sometimes there is a certain difference. And so you make up for it before you leave. Beyond that, nothing comes. And yet, I am supposed to take care of the thousands of constituents who depend on me in the Abu Asebu Kwamankesi constituency with no subsidy. There is talk about the MP's share of the common fund. That is part of the DCAF that the assembly gets. I don't get to see the money. So the most I do is to issue a letter authorizing the DCE to spend this on that project for the people of AAK. The money never comes to me. You understand me? But the impression is created that somehow there are some pots sitting in parliament which MPs get resources from and therefore are much better off. Indeed, there are instances where former MPs come to parliament and they cannot even afford to buy medicines because everything they have they spend on their constituents. Look, I was in a constituency one day. Everything I had was taken away from me. I had to call my wife to send me 500 cedis to buy fuel to come to Accra because I had been shaken dry, stripped of everything that I have. But you see, maybe we've not helped ourselves because of the opacity behind which we have operated. We have not opened up enough. People are even afraid to discuss what they earn for fear of public backlash. I can tell you for free, it is equivalent to what ministers earn. And that's it. Unlike ministers who have a duty post vehicle, who get all the accessories that I spoke to you about in the earlier segments, who have some allowance here or some allowance there due to travels or anything, the MP gets nothing. Again, when it comes to the vehicle, some say if it were just a case of leaving my residence in Accra and going to Parliament, before I became MP, I had a car, so I could manage. But you have to take long distance travel, and I take long distance travel. From here to AK, it's about 160 kilometers. I cannot do that on a bicycle or a motorbike.
I have colleagues who are MPs.
Alpha.
Yes.
So we've heard Honorable Joseph Frimpong, MP for Nkoko, and we just listened to the voice of the Minister of State in charge of Government Communication, Felix Ofosu-Kwakye. And they've shared various experiences, personal experiences. And for the second voice that we listened to, Felix Ofosu-Kwakye, he says there was a day that he had to call his wife to send him money to buy fuel because he had been squeezed dry.
He has been milked dry. Biasa.
Yes.
I want to start with the Member of Parliament for Nkoko. Clearly, anybody who has watched that video, if you have, you will see the frustration on the face of the Member of Parliament. I think that for me, from what I heard from him, that was a genuine concern. This was really something that was really, really, troubling him. And it's been troubling him for some time now. Unfortunately, he has not gotten the opportunity to address it. So when it came to the floor...
But when MPs have not been paid, it's a very serious issue.
Very. It should tell you that it's now not surprising that nurses have not been paid, because the very people who are supposed to, provide some checks on the public purse are themselves not been paid. They have not enjoyed or gotten their entitlement. That should tell you the gravity of the problem we are talking about this morning. So clearly, if you had watched the video, you realize that this man was talking with a lot of frustration, with a lot of pain, a lot of concern. Okay? Now, when you come to the video, the audio that, or even before I come to that, he mentioned a number of things. First of all, the pay itself is not enough. Number two, there are certain entitlements that we are supposed to get. We've not gotten them. Okay? And yet, the government, when they come to Parliament, and of course, in presenting the State of the Nation's address, they keep telling us that inflation has dropped. His argument is that, yes, the numbers may have dropped, but the money to buy things, to even experience this inflationary drop, is not there. So how do I even benefit from the inflation that he keep touting? So that is his major concern. That, yes, you are telling us that based on the numbers. Of course, I've looked at the numbers. They look good. But at the end of the day, I need money in my pocket to go to the grocery shop to buy stuff in order for me to even enjoy this inflation drop that you keep talking about. And where's the money? I'm not getting the money. There's no money. You've not given me my entitlement. This is a member of Parliament, Janice. If a member of Parliament is complaining the way he's complaining, then it should tell you the concerns of ordinary Ghanaians. Because he's not an ordinary Ghanaian at all. How many citizens of our country are members of Parliament? 276. How many are we? 30 million. So it should tell you it's not easy to become a member of Parliament. He has become a member of Parliament. He's in a position of authority. He is in one of the arms of government. Even him says he's not gotten his entitlement. Now, coming to Felix Ofosu-Kwakye, he makes the point that, and he made a very sharp comparison between what MPs enjoy and what ministers enjoy. That if you're a minister, you are supposed to get a car, one V8, and we are told a salon car, and your salary is equivalent to what members of Parliament are taking, around 30, 35,000 whatsoever. But he said that the ministers get other things that the MPs do not get. And most importantly, the pressure on members of parliament. And he gave the example of anytime he goes to his constituency, he will meet not less than 300 persons. And these are people with genuine financial problems, seeking for support from the member of parliament. And that because the central government is unable to touch or is unable to locate or is unable to give help to these people in these constituencies, they see the members of parliament as the only people that they can go to in order to get these problems resolved. So he said that he's spending a lot on these constituencies. Now, it's very possible that a member of parliament in one visit to his constituency may spend more than he will get at the end of the month. So ask yourself, how are they surviving? That's the next question that will come to it. And I'm sure the other question that it's in the minds of people is, why are people rushing to go to parliament? If that's the reality, we'll come to the aspect of the question as well. But clearly from what he has indicated to us, looking at what they get and what they spend more than what they get. So there's a gap. Every human being is a reasonable human being. Every member of parliament is a reasonable member of parliament. If there is a gap between what he gets and what he spent, he's going to bridge that gap. How?
Exactly.
That's the next question that will come to. Because the how may affect you and I. You think that it's a personal problem for members of parliament, but there is a way that that gap, in his quest to fill it, will affect your school, will affect the quality of roads that they will be built, and that will be built, will affect the kind of healthcare that you will get, will affect the kind of education that your kids are going to receive. So that gap is a very important gap, and we need to talk about it. Now, I've engaged members of parliament, Janice. It's a very, 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 very huge financial burden to seek to become a member of parliament in this country. First of all, even before you become a member of parliament, you have to start what they call mobilization. Because you can't just jump from nowhere. Come, oh, I want to become a member of parliament. They will look at you, nice eyes. Oh, Janice, let's give it to her. No. You need to start some operation in the constituency. So that's why you see people who are aspiring to become members of parliament on some occasions will go with some assorted items, drinks, or whatever. We've given it to the Muslim community, the Christian community, some community here. That's what they call mobilization. So they spend on that. Now, you need to be in very close relationship with the delegates. Even before you declare your intention, they need to know you. How do they know you? You need to be solving their problems. Oh, school fees. Kwame Mensah will call you, Charlie. So I will say, honorable. They will start calling you honorable. Kwame Mensah, honorable, please. Charlie, school fees, I say 10,000. But you have 5K. So we have 5K. Okay, then you send. Another person will call you. Rent. Some people have even the courage to tell you that, well, they have given birth. So you need to, for the naming ceremony, etc. So you start doing all of these things even before you declare your intention. Now, when you declare your intention to contest, there are people we call the kingmakers. You need to go and see them. And seeing them is not free of charge. You need to give something. These delegates, even before the voting itself, you need to spend money. At least if you are a newcomer, as far as this conversation is concerned, not long ago, there was a primary held by the NDC in the Ayawasu East constituency. I'm sure you recall what happened. Somebody left his position as Nigerian High Commissioner.
I was thinking about it.
Came to Ghana, gave 32 television sets to how many people? I think more than 1,000, if I'm not mistaken. So on the voting day, you need to spend. After voting, if you become a parliamentary candidate, you need to be taking care of the delegates and some of the party people. If you're fortunate enough to win, then your scope will expand to the entire constituency. So anytime you come to the constituency, you need to spend on funerals. Felix Ofosu-Kwakye gave the example of how much you will be expected to spend on funerals. And in one weekend, if care is not taken, you can attend to, say, 5 funerals. And you cannot spend less than 500 cedis on these funerals. We've not even talked about the fuel that you require. Do you get the point? Now, if you become a member of parliament, that's the financial responsibility on you. So the question is, how are they managing it? How are they doing it? And what realities are they being confronted with? That's why I said we'll come to the gap. There's no member of parliament, no reasonable member of parliament who knows that these are some of the financial responsibilities on me and I need to discharge them. We'll go to parliament. There are 2 things that are likely to happen. Is either he will leave parliament and use the position to create some network and get some financial some money in to deal with those things and maybe get other monies to deal with his personal issues. Or she will not. So for instance, if he becomes a minister, then what you need to expect is that he will use that position as a minister, get a lot more resources, take care of his personal needs, and be able to take care of the needs of the constituency. And if he's a minister for health and he's going to do that, don't you think that if monies or if loans are procured for hospitals to be built in his quest to be able to deal with the gap that has been occasioned as a result of the huge financial burden on him, he will start thinking about 10%. He'll start thinking about doing a shorty job to get other resources in order for him to be able to take care of these needs? Don't you think that it's possible that if he is negotiating for a contract, for him to give a contract to somebody, he will have to be sure that that somebody will give him something on top of the contract in order for him to get the money to do the things that he's expected to do as a member of parliament? And if he's going to do that, don't you think that that person that is going to deliver or prosecute the contract, as reasonable as he is, will also be thinking of how can I prosecute this contract, having given this part of the contract to a member of parliament, but still manage to get profit so that I can also take care of my personal needs? At the end of the day, it means that the quality of the job is what is going to be reduced in order for everybody to benefit. So that who is suffering in this particular context? You and I. So it is at the heart of corruption, this very conversation that we're having. The cost of election, the financial burden on politicians, how they are working to bridge the gap is at the heart of the conversation about corruption. And in this country, we pretend a lot. When somebody becomes a minister, we expect him to have money. So they say, oh, you go to a member of parliament and you complain that I'm just a member of parliament, Dominiska. They will say, oh, as for him, he is a minister. So ask yourself, he is a minister, no? How is he getting this additional money? And we say it's like it's become normal. It's oh, he's a minister, so he has money. He's the minister for education. Interior, Oscar. Oh, great. Oh, finance, whatever. So it's important that we deal with some of these matters. And in this country, I've said, if we continue along this line, making politics so expensive, our life will become very expensive. You know why? Because when politics are expensive, politicians are paying more to become politicians, to hold the positions that they currently occupy. They are not dumb people, Janice. They are not foolish people. I think they are quote unquote stupid. So that I'll come and spend and I'll just become a member of parliament and be spending and there's no money coming. No, nobody will do that. So they will find a way. Have you thought about the way? Do you know how they make additional resources available to take care of your wedding? to take care of your
Father's
injury, your funeral.
funeral.
Do you know how they do it? So that's why I'm saying that I agree that there's a lot of pressure on members of parliament. There's a lot of burden on them. They are doing something that they cannot. A lot of them go out of parliament and they become paupers. And we've seen some of them who outside of parliament can't even get money to buy medication to take care of themselves. They are still former members of parliament who are frequenting parliament, they're going to see current members of parliament in order to intervene so that they'll get medical care, so that they'll get places to sleep. We have these members of parliament who have had their cars broken. They can't, now some of them are even to the extent that they will have to, rely on public transport to survive. There are some of them like that. So I'm saying that there's a problem in that regard. But the other question is, why the rush? But they know all of these things. Every now and then, members of parliament come to talk about some of these things. Why are they in a rush to go to parliament? Have you thought about the reasons?
Alpha, as I've been listening to you, the question that has been on top of my mind is that why is it that in Ghana our system is designed in a way that one is either designed to make you poor or designed to make you want to steal?
Yeah, I think you're right.
And then I remember when I was in first year, I think one of the first classes that I went to, he had this lecturer. He's a very blunt man. And he came to class and he's like, if you know that you can't steal in Ghana, you should aspire to leave Ghana so that you make an honest living for yourself. But if you want to become rich and you are in Ghana, your aspiration is you should find ways of stealing smartly.
I think this country rewards people who can steal.
Yes.
And it punishes those who don't want to steal.
Yes. You see, last week I was making the point that our problem is twofold. It's from the people and it's from leadership. Because if you're expecting an MP to give you TV before you go and vote, you're expecting him to pay fees, you're expecting him to provide some form of relief to you, some financial relief to you before he enters parliament. When he enters parliament, he's going to compensate himself.
That's that point I did, and last week I think I expressed my disagreement with you on that.
But he's going to compensate himself.
Yeah, I'm not doubting. I'm not arguing with that. But I'm saying that I do not think it's a problem of citizenship. Because check yourself, the current system of government that we are implementing, who designed it? The framework of our governance system was designed by our constitution, isn't it? Okay. Yes, we know that ordinary people took part in the process of designing what we now have as a constitution. Okay, and the constitution is supposed to mirror the aspirations of the people. Okay, the constitution is supposed to reflect the values, the goals, the objectives of the people. Now, the point is, having practiced this constitution for more than 30 years, and we knowing that the constitution is a living organism, it has the capacity to grow. How do you grow? How do you make the constitution a living organism? To be able to adapt itself to reflect changing circumstances. It's through amendment or through constitutional or judicial decisions. To what extent have we attempted to review some portions of the constitution that we think is a problem? Yes, of course, the Constitutional Review Committee has done some work. Let's see what happens to that. But I'm saying that there is a problem with the democratic design of this country.
Oh yes, and
There's a problem with the structure as we have it.
with that.
It's either we are not implementing what the framers of the constitution envisaged, or the country has metamorphosed or has changed or has transformed to the extent that the structure that was born in 1992 cannot be used in 2026. So, and who is responsible for that? Who is responsible to look at the blueprint, the structure? It's not really the ordinary people can make calls, but the power lies in the bosom of the people in authority to push for that to happen. And these are the leaders of this country. To what extent have they not been, dilly-dallying with the constitution review agenda? This is not the first time we've had a committee established to look into the constitution. In 2011, John Mills did say, where is the report? Do you get the point? So the people in power know that they are enjoying because of the structure that is in existence today. So they are unwilling to change it, to tamper with it. Now, the citizens have also realized that, oh, this is the structure. This is how you're benefiting. If we do not get our pound of flesh from you, it means that we are missing in the context. So we too will come to you and demand for this. So now you have a situation where corruption has become a chicken and an egg situation.
I understand.
That is why I think it's a problem. Because just like you said, it is hard to be an honest person in Ghana.
Very hard.
Your family will insult you. They will say you are a useless person. Then you become an MC who couldn't solve their problems. I have a man who was an MC in our area. Go and see how the community always insult him. He became a who did you solve his or her problem? How did you didn't do anything? So we've created a situation where when people become municipal chief executives, members of parliament, the expectation is that they are able to solve our problems. Now it means that the community or the society mentally has created a platform for people to find ways to make those monies available. And usually it's not through their legal salaries. It's through other means. So we've created a system where you are rewarded for being a thief.
Exactly. You
are rewarded for being a corrupt person. You are praised for engaging in corruption. You are praised and you are celebrated for stealing public funds to take care of people. That's the system we've created in this country. And for me, just like I've said, everything rises and falls on leadership. If leadership is wrong, everything will be wrong in this country. And I disagree with those who say it's a problem of citizens. I think it's a largely problem of leadership. When leadership want to change it, it can be changed. That's what I think.
It is twofold. So I agree with you to a certain extent that everything rises and falls on leadership. But I'm saying, Alpha, this thing keeps on removing. If we have, if we are in a country and then two competent people, let me even say one competent person who is broke, right? And then you have another person who can do the talking, sweet talking, and also make provision for you financially. And they both are campaigning for the same position. Who do you think is likely to be elected?
I didn't get your question.
Let me come again. I'm saying that, let's say two people are contesting for the same position as, let's say, member of parliament. And there's one person who is competent, but the person is not financially well-resourced. And so the person talks about, I'm going to do planning, I'm going to implement this policy, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, figure things out so that everyone in this community can
testify to his competence.
And you can testify to his competence, that this person indeed can do the work. But the person doesn't have the financial resources. He's not liquid. He's not paying people's fees. He's not giving people funeral monies. He's not doing all of those things. And there's one person who says that, I can also sweet talk you. I can tell you that, I'm going to make things, but you know it. That this person, if you give him the power, things might not go well. But the person is able to make financial provisions for you. And some people within the community that, let me go to this funeral. I'm going to give them 500 cedis. Let me go here. I'm going to give them 1,000 cedis. Let me pay this person's school fees. Let me do this. Who are you going to elect? Who do you think stands a higher chance of being elected? Honestly.
The person who has a lot of money.
The person who has a lot of money. So that is why I'm saying that it is twofold. I'm not saying that it is solely the problem of the citizens.
The problem of this analogy. You make it sound like that's where the problem starts.
No. And I was also going to make the point that, the MPs are complaining now that there's a drain on them, that people expect so much from them and everything. But I'm also saying that, if I want 100 cedis, if I want to borrow 100 cedis from someone in this office, I know the person that I'm going to approach. I'm not going to just approach anyone that, hello, can you give me X amount of money? Because I've seen something. Do you understand? And so I think, in as much as there have been, let's say, a lasting perception people have about MPs and some sense of entitlement to a certain extent, I believe it is what they make us believe that in turn affects what we expect from them. Do you understand? So, for instance, if the MP son is going to, let's say, some school that they pay their school fees in dollars, If they have this business, if I see all these good things happening for the MP, I'm also expected to know. It's not like I'm expected, but it's my inherent thought to be that, oh, because he's able to do this for his kids, because he's able to do that, because he lives a certain kind of way, because I see him drive a certain type of car, when I want money, he can help me.
So that's the point. What the point I'm trying to make is that, you see, let's even acknowledge or concede that what you just said is the case, that the problem is in twofold. You see, when you have two people who have contributed to a problem and trying to see how best you can solve it, one of the key things that you need to look at is that who has more responsibility to solve the problem. Leadership, I've told you last week, that comes with responsibility. You know, citizens, if you allow us, we'll do whatever we want to do. Citizens, if you allow us, we want to break the law. Okay? We want to, just drink water, throw it anywhere, whatever. We want convenience. And whatever gives us convenience, we are ready to do that. Okay? But there is an extra responsibility on the leader to solve problem. The citizen does not have the power, number one, and the responsibility to do that. So if you say the problem is in twofold, it is emanating from us citizens and also from the leaders. The question is, between the citizens and the leaders, who has the greater responsibility to influence decisions?
The leaders. But then you
So that's why I'm saying that. That's why I'm saying that if leaders were minded to do these things, then behavior will begin to change. The attitude will begin to change. Because leadership responsibility is also to set the standard.
What I do not agree with you about what you just said is that the citizens do not have the power to implement change or make changes. It is the leaders who have. But then at the end of the day, ultimate power lies within the power of the people of Ghana.
Sovereignty resides
Sovereignty
in the people of Ghana.
Exactly. And so at the end of every 4 years, you are the ones expected to say that, oh, I've seen how things are going in this country. I've seen how you've managed our system. I've seen how you've done things. And because of that, I want to vote against
What's
you.
the solution? Vote against them and vote for who?
That is the point.
Is
That
the
is the point I'm making. We keep on choosing the same leaders.
No, I'm saying, I'm coming. The options available to you are the people who will enjoy the power. We've seen how people use power in this country. Do you get the point? We've changed leadership. The problem still remains. What does that tell you? It means the leadership are thinking alike. We have done our part to change things.
Because our expectations from them haven't changed.
No, I'm saying that you've said that we have the power. Sovereignty resides in the people, in whose name and for whose welfare the powers of government are to be exercised, as stated by the Constitution. That is well noted. But I'm saying that at the end of the day, we on our part, haven't we changed leadership before? Has the problem changed? It means that there is something constant with the leaders that we've always been appointed or elected. And that's why I'm saying that if those leaders were minded to change that constant factor, things will change. Because at the end of the day, what other options do we have? Not vote. If you don't vote, other people will go and vote and elect a leader. What else do you do? Demonstrate and fight the government? You can't do that. That's against the law. So what options is available to you? Use your thumb. I've used my thumb.
Exactly.
Party A, party B, party C, party D. Almost all of them. Look at that. What should I do?
I am saying that you are using your thumb to decide. At the end of the day, you are looking you are looking at what you can get from the people that you are choosing. That is what you are looking at.
If I'm looking for
Because if you bring, let's say, I support a particular party, I support party A. 2 members of party A are going for primaries. One is competent but doesn't have money. The other, we just know that it's just sweet talks, but the person has money. I am in party A. I am going to choose the person who has money. The person in party B is also going to do the same thing. So in the end, we give ourselves the same options and we vote for them the same way and they make the same decision. So the system doesn't change much.
The problem I have with that concept is that the leaders that we vote for, do you get the point? You've made the point that we have some expectations of them. Leadership's responsibility is not to be popular and to take popular decisions. Last week I was telling you, there are things that the people need and there are things that the people want. You and I sitting here, there are things you need and there are things you know you need and you want. If leaders were minded to do the most important things and set the most important standard, institute certain values. Okay, live those values. Let their lived lives or their experiences reflect those. At the end of the day, it will influence on the actions and inactions of citizens. And secondly, if they are minded to change the structure, if they are minded to change the way things are being done or things are supposed to be done. Because at the end of the day, the citizen, when you live him, inherently everybody wants convenience. Everybody would like to break the law. Everybody would like to enjoy himself, to have room to explore, to do all the things that they want to do. But that's the citizens, and that's how sometimes they are expected to live. That's why we say amongst ourselves, we choose people who will live above board. That's why we pay you to think, we pay you to set the standard, we pay you to be disciplined, and ensure that discipline runs through the system. Why do you think we pay leadership? Why do you think we make leaders' lives comfortable? Just to come and complain that the problem is for us? We are all also part of the problem. So what's your job? What are you there to do? If you are there to complain, we can complain better than you. So come, let's all complain. There's a responsibility on leadership. Until those responsibilities are discharged, things will not happen. Every country that you see develop starts with leadership. When the leadership is right, it influences behavior. When leadership is wrong, everything will be wrong. And that's what we need to start from. Let's listen to our friends.
Okay. When leadership is right, what did you say? Continue the statement for me. When leadership is right.
I said when leadership is right, it influences behavior, and the behavior of the people will be right. When it is wrong, everything will be wrong.
Okay.
That's what I think.
Okay. That's true. Anyway, but my point still remains: we are the ones who elect our leaders. So we are the ones who put people in our leadership positions, and so leadership is ultimately a representation of the people. That is, but the point we are making this morning is please pay the MPs. It is very sad. And we have our first caller. Let's take our calls and then please keep calling. I'm trying to connect the phone lines. I think we have some technical issues. But then 054-102-2318, 054-102-2318. Hello? Hello?
Yeah,
Good morning. Your name and where you're calling from, please.
I'm Zach from Yamuacho.
Okay, Zach.
But you can't responsibility, like me, you know. But I think you know, to me, that's for being responsibility. So, Baba Stanley said, "Yen chap, yen ye say anything." But I think you know, the mono, how you catch over to be our manner. That's it. But I'm not saying, Alfa, I make some.
Okay, Zach. Yamisha also. Thank you so much for calling. 054-102-2318. 054-102-2318. Let us hear your thoughts this morning. We've spoken about women empowerment. We've also spoken about the conditions of service for the MPs who are now complaining that they've not been paid. And in spite of that, they are even giving out more than they receive. 054-102-2318. Hello?